What if Ahsoka never left the Jedi Order? During the Clone Wars, we saw Ahsoka get framed for bombing the Jedi Temple, and as a result, she was expelled from the Jedi Order. However, with Anakin's help, he was able to expose the true criminal, Bear Safi, and so as a result, the Jedi realized they were wrong. From there, they then offered her to return back as a Jedi, but she declined, forcing her and Anakin to go their own separate ways. But what if things were different? What if Ahsoka never left the Jedi Order and stayed? How different would things have been if she did stay as a Jedi? Well, in this alternate timeline, that's exactly what we'll be diving into, so let's get right into it. Our story begins just moments after Ahsoka declined the Jedi Council's offer to return back as a Jedi. Although it was always her dream to be a Jedi, she realized how much they changed over the years and how this wasn't the same Jedi Order she fantasized as a child. She just couldn't stay. She had to find her own path, and so she set out to do just that. As she then walked outside, she made her way out, but Anakin rushed after her. He needed her. She couldn't leave. He just couldn't let that happen. So he went right up to her and the two spoke. However, this is where our story is different from the original. As Anakin tried to understand why she didn't want to stay as a Jedi, he then said,
"I understand wanting to walk away from the Order."
Ahsoka looked back at Anakin.
"I know."
However, instead of staying silent and letting Ahsoka walk away as we originally saw, in this timeline, Anakin spoke up.
"Ahsoka, I promise if anything else happens, I'll be the first to walk away with you. I know the Jedi have lost their way over the years, but I need you. More than you know."
"You need me? What are you talking about?"
I was never going to tell you this, actually."
"What is it, Anakin?" Anakin, if there was ever a time to tell me something, it's now."
Padme and we're, together."
"Well, we all knew that, Anakin. Everyone did. But I'm very happy for you both. You and her are some of my closest friends, and you both deserve an amazing life together. Now, if you'll excuse me, Anakin, I have to leave."
"I'm not done, Ahsoka. There's a reason why I told you that. As you can imagine, it's been hard keeping our relationship a secret."
"Well, I wouldn't really call it a secret."
"Yes, but you get my point. Anyway, we can't do this for much longer. Eventually, we'll have to come clean to the Council. And Padme and I already talked about one day maybe even starting a family together. If that day comes, I don't know if I'll even be able to stay a Jedi. We talked about maybe starting our family back on Naboo. Now, the only issue is, we can't do that right now. Not while the war is going on. Ahsoka, the galaxy is a dangerous place. If you leave now and the Separatists win the war, well, I don't want you in any danger."
"I can take care of myself, Anakin."
"Yes, and I know that, Ahsoka. But I've already lost my mother. I refuse to lose you too. The war is coming to a close. Soon it'll be all over, and when Padme and I leave the Order and the Republic, you can come with us and start a new life. I promise."
"On Naboo?"
"Yes, we'll take care of you and always look after you. Rex can even come too. But please, it's too dangerous out there. I can't have you out there on your own."
"And what if the war doesn't end soon? What if it goes on for longer than you and I both expect?"
"Then if the Jedi haven't changed their ways, we'll leave on our own terms. I promise. Please, Snips."
"Okay. I will stay."
One year had passed since Ahsoka stayed as a Jedi, and ever since she rejoined the Order, her life had completely changed. Not only did the Council accept her back, but they also promoted her to the rank of Jedi Knight. To them, the hardships Ahsoka dealt with over this time proved that she was ready for the next step, and so she was granted this high rank. However, because of this, it also meant that Anakin was eligible to become a Jedi Master, and so he was. Although some Jedi such as Mace Windu had their doubts in granting Anakin Master, he proved he was able to lead Ahsoka to knighthood and was now ready for his next step. So, over the next year, Ahsoka and Anakin continued right where they left off together, but there was one big change. Because of everything that happened, their relationship became even closer than before. Even more now, they both had similar viewpoints on how much the Jedi had changed over the years, and more than ever, they were just glad they had each other. Not only that, but Anakin also trusted Ahsoka more after he told her the truth about he and Padme's relationship. This was a big deal to him because he never even told Obi-Wan about their relationship, so the fact that he told Ahsoka just proved how much he trusted her. Because she knew this, it allowed her to be there even more for him during tough times, like when Anakin would have to be apart from Padme while on missions. Ahsoka and Anakin had truly become closer friends, and now their bond was inseparable. Now with the Clone Wars coming to an end, victory was near for the Republic, but there was one problem. After Anakin and Obi-Wan returned back from their mission after defeating Count Dooku, Anakin experienced something horrifying, something dark, something that struck him to his core. Nightmares. In these nightmares, he saw Padme dying in childbirth, and the thought of that terrified him. He couldn't stand the thought of losing her, especially after losing his mother a few years ago. So he went to Padme and tried speaking to her about them. However, all she told him was to not worry and that she'll be fine and it's probably nothing. Unfortunately for Anakin though, he didn't believe her. He experienced these nightmares before and he refused to go through them again. So he knew he had to do something about it if he were to save her. Then it hit him. He was a Jedi Master now. Maybe he could search the Jedi Holocron vault to find some answers. This vault was only restricted for Masters to access, but since he had permission to go in there might be something that talked about saving people from death. So Anakin rushed to the vault, but after hours and hours of searching, he found nothing. Not a single answer. Anakin felt defeated. What could he do now? He felt so lost, so confused. Then he thought to himself, maybe he should speak to somebody about it. For a brief moment, he thought that maybe somebody wiser like Yoda or Chancellor Palpatine could help him. But then he stopped himself. Although they were wise, he knew somebody else that he trusted way more. Ahsoka. So Anakin went to go speak to Ahsoka, and as he did, she said,
"You wanted to speak to me, Anakin?"
Yeah. I feel lost.
Lost? What's going on?
It's about Padme. I haven't told you yet, but yesterday she told me she's pregnant. We're going to have a child, Ahsoka.
Anakin, that's amazing. You must be so excited. You've been talking about this for ages.
Yeah.
What's wrong?
I've been having nightmares that she dies in childbirth.
Nightmares?
Like the ones I had about my mother, right before she died. I know you weren't there when that happened, Ahsoka, but they felt at the time real, and they feel real now. I can't let her die. I can't.
Then let's make sure she doesn't.
How? If I couldn't stop my mother from dying, how can I stop this from happening?
We do exactly what you've always taught me.
I've taught you a lot, Ahsoka. Which part are you talking about?
We don't listen to the council, and we follow our instincts. She's one of my closest friends. If you're sent on more missions, I'll stay with her and make sure she's always safe. Don't even worry. Whatever happens, we're in it together, and we'll protect her at all costs, Anakin.
This is exactly why I come to you, Ahsoka. I wish Master Obi-Wan would think the same.
I know. She'll be okay, Anakin. And when it's all done, you and her will have an incredible child together. I promise.
As time passed, the events played out the same as in the film, and just as we saw, Obi-Wan was sent to Utapau to fight Grievous, while Anakin was ordered to stay behind on Coruscant. While he stayed behind, he went to Chancellor Palpatine's office to tell him the news that Obi-Wan had engaged Grievous, but it was there where he learned a horrifying truth. Chancellor Palpatine was a Sith Lord they'd been looking for all along. After this discovery, Anakin felt conflicted. He knew the right thing to do was to report to the Jedi Council that he was a Sith Lord, but part of him also needed Palpatine. From what the Chancellor told him, there was a way he could save Padme from her death, but there was one catch behind this. According to him, the only way to save her was through the dark side of the Force. He couldn't use the dark side. No, he just couldn't. Anakin needed help. Originally, he thought about going to Mace Windu to report this news, but instead he did exactly what he did earlier. He went to Ahsoka. It was there where he told her what he learned, and he even mentioned that the two of them should go back to the Chancellor's office and confront him themselves. However, to his surprise, Ahsoka disagreed with him. Although she had her own issues with Master Windu, she told him that they should actually go to him. In her eyes, she and Anakin might not be strong enough to fight the Chancellor themselves, and they needed all the help they could get, especially against a Sith Lord. Although he was hesitant at first, Anakin agreed and the two met with Mace Windu. From there, Anakin told him about his discovery and that Chancellor Palpatine was a Sith Lord they've been looking for this whole time. As Windu stood there shocked after hearing this, he said,
"It seems our worst fears have been realized. We must move quickly if the Jedi Order is to survive."
Master, the Chancellor is very powerful. You'll need our help if you're going to arrest him.
For your own good, stay out of this affair. Commander Tano is far too young and inexperienced. And as for you, I sense a great amount of confusion in you, young Skywalker. There is much fear that clouds your judgment.
Fear? You're kidding, right?
Excuse me?
You understand that you have one of the most, if not the most skilled Jedi in the entire Order by your side. And you tell him to step aside because you think fear is clouding his judgment? That is why people have lost faith in the Jedi. And it's why I did too over a year ago. The only fear I see here is your own fear of what Anakin could be.
Skywalker, tell your former Padawan to step down. These affairs don't concern her.
She's right.
What?
I said, she's right.
Windu took a pause. At that moment, it was almost as if Ahsoka's words struck Windu to his core. Although he couldn't wrap his finger around it, it's almost like her words had some truth behind it. Despite him not wanting to admit it, she was right. He did fear Anakin's raw power. For a while, he was jealous of Anakin for being the youngest Jedi Master in the history of the Jedi, because before he came along, it was him. Now, for the first time ever, he's been called out for it by Anakin's own Padawan. For a brief moment, Windu was speechless.
I see. Let's go then, Skywalker. Ahsoka, wait in the council chambers until we return.
Master, we'll need Ahsoka with us.
No. For her own safety, she must stay out of this. Now let's go. We wasted enough time.
From there, Anakin, Windu, and the three other Jedi Masters went to confront the Chancellor while Ahsoka stayed behind. As Ahsoka sat in the council chambers all by herself, she went deep in thought. Her mind was racing. She started to question whether or not she made the right decision by staying in the Order a year ago. She knew back then how twisted the Jedi Order was, and although she tried to cling on to hope that they'd change, in a way, it was almost like they only got worse over the past year. This wasn't the same Jedi Order she joined when she was just a little girl. Who have they become, she thought to herself. Ahsoka's thoughts then shifted. She remembered Anakin's promise a year ago, that once this war was over, it would all be done. They would be free from the Jedi Order and they can live their own life outside the walls of the temple. Now it was almost that time. The Chancellor was the final piece to ending this war, once and for all. However, before she could keep thinking about this, Ahsoka felt a strange disturbance in the Force. Something evil, something sinister. She heard voices in her head. Death, pain. What was this, she thought to herself? Then it hit her. Anakin. Something wasn't right. No, she couldn't just sit here in the council chambers and just do nothing. Anakin was in danger, and she had to do something about this. So Ahsoka took off and made her way to the Chancellor's office. Whatever was going on, she was gonna put a stop to it. As Ahsoka arrived, it was there where she witnessed the unthinkable. Standing there, she saw Anakin and Mace Windu standing side by side next to what looked like the Chancellor? But his face was all deformed. It was almost as if he was a whole different person, she thought to herself. What happened? What was going on? Luckily, the three of them didn't even notice Ahsoka was there, as they were way too focused on whatever was going on. However, then something unexpected happened. As she heard Windu and Anakin go back and forth arguing, she saw Windu swing back his lightsaber as he was about to attack the Chancellor. Then she looked over at Anakin, almost as if he was about to act. She sensed something growing in him. She knew her master too well. She sensed conflict in him. No, she had to do something quick. She had to stop this. Anakin then ignited his lightsaber to attack Windu, but as soon as he ignited it,
Master, no!
Anakin turned around.
Ahsoka?
Anakin turned back around. It was too late. Chancellor Palpatine was dead. In that brief moment when Anakin turned around, Mace Windu had killed him with one swift strike of his lightsaber. Anakin looked at Windu. His body swelled up. He felt rage. He felt anger.
No! You killed him! Why would you?
Anakin! Stop!
Ahsoka approached Anakin and Windu.
You know I have my own issues with the Council, but this will not resolve anything. The Chancellor is dead. You can't bring him back.
You don't understand. I needed him.
Anakin's emotions rushed through him. He felt defeated. Palpatine was the only one who was supposed to save Padme's life. And now he was gone. What was he gonna do now? That was truly his last hope.
Commander Tano, I appreciate your efforts in talking some sense into young Skywalker. It seems the shadow point I sensed was correct.
Windu looked at Anakin with disappointment.
I knew it was a mistake bringing you here.
Anakin put his head down. He felt so lost.
Your job here is done, Skywalker. Your fate shall be determined tomorrow once the other council members have returned.
Windu left the room. Now it was just Ahsoka, Anakin, and the dead corpse of Chancellor Palpatine lying beside them.
Ahsoka, you don't get it.
What's going on, Anakin? This isn't like you. If I didn't step in, you were going to attack Master Windu.
The Chancellor, Ahsoka. He promised me he could save Padme. He told me that through the dark side there was a way he could save her from death. And now he's gone.
Anakin, even I could tell you he's lying to you. You can't believe what a Sith Lord says. You know better than that. Remember what I told you? Padme will be fine. We'll make sure of it.
Thanks, Snips. I know I usually trust you, but I don't see any other option. He was my last chance at saving her.
Anakin, I'm with you every step of the way. Padme will be okay.
You think?
Yes. Now come on, let's get out of here. Tonight will probably be your last evening as a Jedi before you're expelled tomorrow anyways.
Yeah, probably.
The next day, a council meeting was held and Anakin's future was decided. However, at this hearing, Ahsoka was invited to attend as well. Without her, Master Windu probably wouldn't be alive right now, so it was only right that she was in attendance. So, as the meeting began, Yoda spoke up.
Young Skywalker, did well you have in discovering the truth behind Chancellor Palpatine. However, broke the Jedi Code you did, without your former Padawan involved. Dead Master Windu could have been. Much darkness I sense in you, young Skywalker. Anger, pain, yes, pain. Jedi traits those are not.
Yoda looked over at Mace Windu.
We thank you for your service during your time as a Jedi, young Skywalker. However, due to the events that have just occurred, you leave us with no choice but to expel you from the Jedi Order. Please know, this wasn't an easy decision for us.
Anakin nodded his head. Although he felt a mix of different emotions, he expected this to happen. This decision from the council came to no surprise to him. Part of him was content with the decision, but a small part of him was also heartbroken. Ever since he was a boy, he always dreamed of becoming a Jedi, and now that dream ended today, right here and right now. At that moment, Anakin Skywalker was no longer a Jedi Master.
I understand.
Windu looked over at Ahsoka.
However, as for you, Commander Tano, we commend you for your actions last night and wish for you to remain here as a Jedi Knight. You have proven your loyalty to the Order and have grown tremendously as a Jedi over the past year. The choice is yours alone.
Ahsoka took a pause.
Thank you, Master Windu. And thank you to everyone here in this council room. I'm sure many of you remember, but the last time I stood in this room was just about 1 year ago, when I was expelled from the Order after being accused of something I did not do. It was in this very room where you all asked me to return and even offered me the rank of Jedi Knight. While I ended up eventually accepting this offer, it was only because of one person. My master, Anakin Skywalker. He was the one who convinced me to stay within the Jedi Order. And if it weren't for him stopping me, I would have walked away. For good. I'm sure many of you remember. But when I was wrongfully accused at the time for bombing the Jedi Temple, he was the only one to believe in me. Unfortunately, nobody else did. Not a single person in this room. And well, now the roles are switched. Now it seems I'm the only one who believes in him. For all his life, the Council has only held him back from his full potential. All everyone has ever done was treat him as an outcast, as a monster. It's almost as if you've all been waiting for this opportunity for him to slip up, just to put him in his place finally. So while I'm humbled by the offer to remain here, I will not be staying as a Jedi. My loyalty remains with the kindest, most compassionate Jedi I've ever met. And that's my master. So thank you, members of the Council. But this will be my formal resignation from the Jedi Order. May the Force be with you.
Eventually, the meeting came to a close, and as most Jedi Council members left the room, one Jedi asked Anakin and Ahsoka to stay. This Jedi was none other than Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Well, Ahsoka, I know you're very similar to Anakin, but you may have proved that more than I ever expected today. Listen, both of you. Whatever path you may take now, know that I'll always be there. While I may be staying as a Jedi myself, these walls will never be the same without you both. And Anakin, I can't always say that I agree with your actions, but regardless, you're like my brother and always have been. Thank you, my old friend. I will always love you.
No, Obi-Wan. Thank you for everything.
The two hugged. As Obi-Wan left, Ahsoka and Anakin stayed behind, and as they did, Anakin said,
Well, Snips, I must say, I never saw our departure from the Order happening like this. But I suppose here we are.
Anakin, can I ask you something?
Of course. What is it?
I've been doing some thinking. Last night, after everything that happened, did you have any more nightmares about Padme?
You know, now that I think about it, I didn't, no. Why?
I figured. Anakin, these nightmares must have been Palpatine's manipulations the whole time. He must have been so strong in the dark side, he could influence them on you. Now, I know it's only been just one night without them, but that must say something, right?
I never thought about it like that. You think he was so powerful he could manipulate my dreams?
Well, I'm no dark side user, but I assume there's a chance he could have controlled them. Yes.
You might be right.
I usually am.
Later that night, Ahsoka proved to be right. All of Anakin's fears and anxieties were put to rest when his wife Padme finally gave birth to twins. It was that same night where Luke and Leia were brought into the world and became a part of the Skywalker family. Just like Ahsoka predicted, Padme survived her pregnancy, which led to no other conclusion except that these were Palpatine's manipulations the entire time. From there, Anakin, Ahsoka, Padme, and the twins were ready to start their new life together on Naboo, just like Ahsoka and Anakin spoke about a year ago. But there was one thing missing: their good friend Rex. A year ago, Anakin promised that Rex could come along with them to start their new life, and so out of all people, Padme herself made sure of that. With the war now at an end, Padme's last act as senator was to retire all veteran clone troopers if they wished, and so Rex did just that. Although he loved his brothers more than anything, he couldn't refuse the offer to start a new life with his best friends. Not only that, but he also saw it as a chance to become almost like an uncle to the Skywalker twins. So with Rex retiring and Padme now resigning from her senator duties, they and the rest of the family were ready to start their new life together on Naboo. A few months had passed and life was just perfect for the Skywalker family. Anakin, Padme, Ahsoka, and Rex were happier than ever, and the two twins had the best childhood that any kid could dream of. Life couldn't be better for their family, and as for Ahsoka specifically, she was just happy that Anakin could finally have peace in his life. For so long he's been filled with doubt, anxieties, and worries, so seeing him happy brought a smile to her face. Without him in her life, she would have left the Jedi Order a year ago, but she was so glad she didn't. If she left, she would have never been able to be surrounded by some of her best friends, and plus, she wouldn't have ever been able to look after such incredible children either. Ahsoka couldn't be happier. However, one day, while her, Rex, and the rest of the family was inside, Anakin was visited by somebody unexpected.
I am very proud of you, Annie.
Master Qui-Gon?
Yes, Anakin, it is I. You have done well. The Council may not think so, and yes, your emotions may have gotten the best of you towards the end, but I am still proud of you.
Thank you, Master. I'm sorry I wasn't the one to bring balance to the Force.
Oh, but you did, Annie.
Oh, what do you mean?
Through your teachings, Anakin, you taught your Padawan everything you know. She may have been the one to stop you in that moment, but without your teachings, she would have never done that. It was your guidance who made her the person she is today. You should be very proud of her.
I am. Sometimes I don't know what I'd do without her.
Hold on to her, Annie. You have much greatness ahead for the both of you.
Thank you, Master Qui-Gon.
May the Force be with you, Annie.
May the Force be with you, Master.